Hello and welcome, everybody. It is Coach Action Jackson, and we're here with another episode of Client Success Stories. I have an absolute rock star here. This is my man, Keith. He crushed the program, and I wanted to bring him on, not because he necessarily got a six-pack, but because he just got such incredible results, most specifically when it comes to building muscle. This guy put on some monster level muscle. We're going to talk about how he added 11 pounds of mass in just 16 weeks. We're going to talk about him cutting 3% body fat, losing 12 pounds, and adding 40% onto his strength score. Keith, welcome to the program.
Hi, Jackson. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, I'm stoked to be here. I really enjoyed the program.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to dive into all of it. And I honestly just have to start with, I am so incredibly just blown away by your progress and your results. Now, we've had people lose a lot of body fat. We've had people get six-pack abs. We've had a lot of really amazing, incredible adjective transformations, throw in any word that works there. But you specifically added on just such an incredible amount of muscle in such a short period of time. It really blew me away. It just blew my mind. And I can't believe we're sitting here talking about it, how you added on 11. And I think you said now, even further down, you've added 12, 13 pounds of muscle on because you've continued to add on even since you finished the program. This is incredible. And this is all confirmed with DEXA scan. So it's not like we're just making these numbers up here. Now, can you share with me, how did this happen?
Yeah, I think I've always been a larger athlete, let's say. I've been doing triathlons for quite a while. I used to play soccer, long cycle rides, etc. And I bought a Tonal when it first came out, so 2-3 years ago. But until my kids started using it, I was really like, that's just weight training. I'm going to do cardio. And so I think, first of all, doing a couple of programs on the Tonal and then finding you really focused some strength training and actually began to enjoy it. It wasn't just, I need to do strength training. It was like, I need to do strength training. So I think that was the real turning point. And then, honestly, your program, just the way that it builds up into, more and more excitement. And then obviously the community excites you even more. Progress brings progress or results bring progress, I should say. And you just want to do more. It's, as you said, I finished the program like 6 weeks or so ago, and I've just continued.
Absolutely. That's incredible. So we've devised the program strategically with psychology in mind, with the idea of leveraging what we call the progress principle. This is an incredible principle out of Harvard Business School that shows that when you get these small wins and stack them up, and we've seen this in books like Atomic Habits and a number of other things, it builds momentum, and momentum is really the key that takes you across the finish line. As somebody who does triathlons, momentum is the key, because motivation might get you started, but it's momentum that's going to carry you through the long haul, through the race and across the finish line. And that's what we've built up, one phase after another. We build momentum, we make progress, build these wins. You get excited. You want to invest more energy, more effort. You go at it even harder. And of course, that leads to even better results. But I want to touch on something. You mentioned you're like a cardio king. You did all the cardio stuff and you're like, that's just strength training. So what was the trigger, if there was one, that made you say, like, man, I really need to invest more in strength training? Like, what was the thing that made you want to do it, as opposed to just continuing to say, you know what, I don't need to do it, I got my cardio?
I think it was the fact that cardio wasn't doing it, right? Cardio, I cycled, I do triathlon, so it's not that I wasn't fit and couldn't complete the triathlon, but a couple of people were like, well, in the off season, why don't you just try lifting some weights? And it's like, yeah, I have dumbbells, I have all sorts of stuff, but doing that against the wall or doing that, there's no excitement at all. So there's also the excitement of being not necessarily even on the program, but doing anything with other people. So my kids also started doing it. They were like, Dad, you've got this big TV on the wall that we can do resistance training with. Can we do that? And I was like, yeah, knock yourselves out. And then you do the partner programs. I was like, hold on a minute, this is working. And so it was like, okay, but I now need it to work a little bit more here as well. Just so, why am I doing it? I think when we first started, I said, I need to understand why, don't just tell me what to do, tell me why I need to do it. And you were very good at that. And it just resonated and kept me going.
Wonderful. That's an incredible story. Now, you remind me a lot of Chad, and we've had a number of other people. He's the first one that comes to mind, but a number of other clients that we've worked with where they've invested heavily in their cardio. And cardio is not a bad thing. I'm not anti-cardio by any means, but it must be balanced with doing strength training, because strength training is what's going to lead to the increases in your metabolism. It's going to lead to adding lean muscle mass, which again is going to lead to increased metabolism. It's going to lead to stronger joints, bones, tendons, ligaments. Obviously, increased strength is good as you're getting older because testosterone levels and also typically muscle mass are decreasing once you get to 30. So for all these reasons, strength training is just super superior. It also optimizes your hormones, which is great. So for all those reasons, strength training is amazing. And that's why you've been able to get such an incredible transformation in such a short time. But you mentioned the mindset right there. You said, I had to understand my why this is important to me, and I had to leverage and anchor that. We talk a lot about psychology in the program because I think it is the missing link. It's one of the keys, right? We're not robots. If we were, then everybody would be a millionaire walking around with six-pack abs. So what was it for you? What was the why for you? That was the anchor, the emotional drive, the fuel, the sort of the lifeblood of you pushing through and finishing this program so strong and getting the results that you did.
I think there was a couple of things. One was that the kids were catching me up in doing things. So my kids both did the triathlon this weekend as well. So that was like, hold on a minute, they're catching me up. But also once I started doing some of the strength training, I used to think my legs were my strength, right? I run, I cycle, but then and they looked really, really bulky, really good. I was like, this is good, my legs are good. And I started doing strength training. They started getting smaller, but stronger. And I was like, hold on a minute, my legs were fat. So it was just a bit of a realization that, you cardio, yes, you need to do cardio because that gives you the cardio health. But I've had knee problems, I've had ankle problems, I've had elbow problems. I'm not going to tell you they've all gone away, but they are less and less and less of a problem now that I've got muscles to support them. So it was like my real why was my kids, right? But as I started going into the program, it was like, hold on a minute, I don't ache as much. I muscle ache, obviously, right? But I don't ache from my joints. I don't ache from, wanting to get out of bed in the morning. I don't ache from, I'm 54, right? So I'm beginning on that age of, needing to think about things, right? So, but yeah, the why didn't change from my kids. It just got enhanced by a few other things.
Oh, that's fantastic. We hear that so often when doing these interviews about how it's the kids that are the main driver, whether it's being an example to them, whether it's now for you, almost like competing with them and trying to keep up. But kids so often are a driver for people wanting to change their life, go through this transformation phase and, be better, improve, get stronger, etc. So that's fantastic fuel for the fire in order to drive and really push you, because on those tough days when it's not easy, when you're pushing through the workouts or you're trying to stay disciplined on your diet, you're counting your macros, you're doing all these little things, what's going to be the fuel that's going to drive you and keep you on track? And kids are a fantastic one, but finding whatever it is, anchoring onto it and then using that to drive you through the program is going to be very, very important. So fantastic. Absolutely. That you were able to find that.
I just add to that as well. It's like my son actually lost 35 pounds while I was on the program as well. So it's like he was seeing it. He was seeing me record. He was a freshman at college, right? So he obviously put on the freshman, whatever it is, 15, 20 pounds. He came back and he's like, well, Dad, whatever you're doing. I think I told you one of the stories as well. When I went to pick him up for spring break, he was like, Dad, I almost didn't recognize you. What happened to my life-size dad? Now I've got half a dad. So, that was pretty stoked for me, right? But also he then looked at it and went, well, whatever you're doing. So now he has my fitness pal. He's tracking his macros. He's telling me what he should be eating, talking to his friends. So it's, you've improved one and a half of us.
Whoa. I had no idea he had made that much of a transformation. I heard the story about him not recognizing you, but wow, that's incredible, mind-blowing stuff there. So that's what we talk about. We talk about leading by example, and we talk about all the time that this journey that you're on, it's more important than you think. Your transformation is more important than you think because it impacts all the people around you, right? It impacts your kids, it impacts your spouse, your partner, your family members, your coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, people that follow you on social media, whoever, like they see, and people will acknowledge it, and they will oftentimes want to follow in your footsteps. So this is incredible, Keith. That's fantastic. Wow, congratulations to you, but congratulations to him as well. That's incredible.
No, absolutely. And the fact that he finished his triathlon this weekend as well, it's just like, I did a PB for this weekend, but I'm blown away the fact that he did it. I was just like, hats off to you.
Oh, that is amazing. My client Ryan once said, after he went through the program, he said, Jackson, fitness is now a family affair. And it sounds like you're kind of telling me the same thing. And that's just, God, that just hits me right here in my heart, because to have that kind of influence on your kids, to be setting in these healthy habits at a younger age that they could then carry for their lifetime, live a long, healthy, active life for many, many years, and then also then do the same thing for their kids and their kids and their kids. And that's how we have generational impact, so that one day we can hopefully rid the world of heart disease and all these kinds of terrible diseases that kill far too many people far too young. So incredible, Keith. I love this. This is getting me so pumped and excited. So thank you for sharing that story. But let's dive into a few other aspects. Now you in particular, we often say like perfection is the enemy, right? We don't want to focus on perfection. We want to focus on progress. And for you, I think this is really hits home, because you had a few obstacles along the way that a lot of other people don't have to necessarily deal with. And you not only dealt with them, but you overcame them and you stayed the course. And I can't imagine, honestly, if you didn't have these obstacles, where you would have been. You might have had it on 20 pounds of muscle mass, for all we know. You could be entering Mr. Olympia this, next year, for all we know. But would you share with the people, like, what were the obstacles that you faced, and then how did you overcome them, stay the course, and then manage to still get such great results?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we started in January the 3rd, I think it was. So it was ideal, right? And then, unfortunately, my father passed away early in January, so I had to fly back to the UK for his funeral, which, as you can imagine, was a few beers with my brothers, the wake, etc. But I still just focused on, it's okay to not work out every day, because I'm obviously there for that reason. But it's not okay to just turn off. Right, I was 3-4 weeks in. I've already learned a lot about what the macros do. I've already learned about where we're going. So let's just be cognizant of what happens. And if on a day or two, I don't watch, I don't care, because that's what I'm doing, then fine. But then come back. And I was already doing intermittent. In fact, I've been doing intermittent fasting intermittently for the last year or so. And so, doing the 24-hour fast after a lot of indulgence was actually quite easy for me. But also some of your trainings about making sure that you then, it's not about no carbs, it's about carbs in the right process, in the right portions. It's about protein in the right place, in the right portions. It's about fat in the right place, in the right portions, and joining that together. So, obviously that was a pretty sad episode in my life, but I managed to just sort of focus and say, okay, look, let's just get over it. Then I, pretty happy one, I went to see my daughter, who was studying abroad in Italy. So again, Italian food, pasta, whatever. And even my wife there, she's like, are you not drinking? I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. I'm going to have water, I'm going to have tea, I'm going to have non-alcoholic beverages. And she was like, how can you do that? And I was like, because I'm investing in me, right? It's not that I didn't eat. I certainly had a few pastries, I had a few, but it was up here thinking, look, I can put back on the 10 pounds I've lost, and then I start from the beginning again. But I didn't want to start from the beginning again. And even after I finished the program, it was like, okay, I can indulge now and again, but you have to, you have to stay the course. I've still got at least as much to lose as I already have. And, if it takes me the rest of the year, it takes me the rest of the year, but I have a program that will support me. And then the third time I went to Mexico on a golf trip. And again, it was beer buddies. So it was like, guys, you having a beer? I'm like, no, I actually went for a run twice while we were there. And the guys are like, what are you doing? We're going to play golf and then go for margaritas. And I was like, I'll see you for the golf. That's fine. But I'm going for a run. And it's getting over that fact that, yes, there is a little bit of Mickey taking. You're investing in you. And to be honest, a couple of them afterwards have said to me, said, you were so impressed with that you managed to do the run, or your push-ups, or your sit-ups. Or your hit session, because I was doing that actually on the veranda and they were obviously having a beer, watching, going, "What is keep doing?" And it's like, well, I'm doing this so that I can have a beer with you. Because if I have the beer with you, then I'm then I'm doubly valued.
Wow, incredible. There's so much to unpack there. First thing, I'm so sorry, obviously, about your father again. I know we talked about it, but wow, I'm just so incredibly sorry. But the thing that you did that was so great about it was is that you didn't let one bad thing lead to compounding and spiraling out of control. Whereas a lot of people will let, something bad that happens and use it almost as an excuse to then spiral down. And then they feel worse because they've drank way too much, they've eaten way too much, they've done all these things, they've stopped exercising, and then they're in a worse place. And now they're struggling to deal with their emotions, to deal with all of the sort of emotional challenges and stuff that comes along with it. And you didn't do that. Yes, you indulged, you had a few things here and there, but then you kept coming back to center. You kept coming back to center, and you kept sort of leading that very difficult balance. So that was important. And then you had two, maybe three, couple of fun trips there that you enjoyed. But again, you kept coming back to center. You didn't sabotage yourself, as like we like to say at Action Jackson Fitness. You went, you enjoyed yourself, you did certain things, but then you made some certain concessions where you weren't going to go down a certain path. And that's incredible, commendable, and awesome, because that's how you make the significant progress. And one thing people often talk to me about is like, Jackson, I want to have balance. I want to have balance. But oftentimes, if they're joining the program, it's because they've been out of balance for so long. So now you kind of have to go a little bit more extreme in one direction for a period of time in order to kind of shift things back to a balance point. And then you can kind of move forward. And now that you've made such incredible results and progress, yeah, you can indulge here or there and when you want to and pick your spots, but you're strategic and intentional about it. So no guilt. And then you get right back on track and you keep going the course.
And that's perfect. And I think that there's two phrases, right? One is that was yesterday, and the other one is that's tomorrow, right? So you can say, oh, look, okay, I fell off the wagon yesterday, but that was yesterday. All right, now I'm back on the wagon. It doesn't have to turn into that was the last 3 weeks where I fell off the wagon, and now I think I'm ready again. Or put it the other way, you can say, tomorrow I know I'm going to fall off the wagon. So let's plan for it. And you gave us some pretty good tips for how to do that. How to build your macros, how to set your mindset. And I think the one of the things I said during the program was that my biggest gain is actually between my ears, right? That how to think about what's going to happen, or how to think about what did happen, and how to get better. I didn't have a great workout today. That's okay. You had a workout today. I know I haven't spoken to you in a little while, but I went out for an 8-mile run before to do some triathlon practice and blew my foot up, and I went to the doctor and he said, oh, it's plantar fasciitis. And pretty much for the last 4 weeks I've been Theragun in my leg. I've still been doing the strength workouts, but haven't been able to do any running. So the first run I did was actually on Sunday, which was in the triathlon, and I was like praying, like, this has got to go, this has got to work, this has got to work. But it was like, I know what I need to do. I need to do the stretches. I need to do the Theragun. I need to do whatever. I need to eat properly, or I can just sit here and have donuts because my leg's busted. And it's like, no, I'm going to do the triathlon. And if I get up on the Sunday morning and I can't, then fine, I've tried my best. But it's like that goal that says, and last year, I tell you, if that had happened last year, I'd have been on the sofa with donuts. And it's like, okay, I guess the triathlon isn't for me this year. Whereas now my leg is actually pretty well. It's still a little pain, but it's definitely runnable.
Wow, that's incredible. I think the biggest takeaway there is like people have to understand at home, there's never going to be this perfect magical time when all the stars align in terms of things that happen in their life. There's no obstacles, there's nothing, and it's just like clear blue skies and roses and butterflies. That's never going to happen, not only with your calendar and schedule, but also with things that are out of your control, other people in your life and your body also, right? You might get sick. There might be an injury. There might be something, bumps and bruises along the way. And can you overcome those and continue moving forward? Can you work around them somehow and not make things worse, but obviously make things better and improve and just kind of navigate those obstacles somehow? And you're obviously a shining example of that. And it's just incredible. You mentioned the biggest benefits are between the ears. Can you expand on that? Because I hear this all the time. And I think it's one of the points I love emphasizing to people is that by strengthening your body, you really do strengthen your mind. And every time I'm going through a difficult point in my life, whether it's a difficult decision, whether I feel overwhelmed because of work or other responsibilities or things, I work out and I immediately, number one, feel better. But number two, I also feel like I could conquer the world. And any problem, any challenge, it's instantly like it's shrunk down. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. It's like I become Superman after my workouts. It's incredible. And I hear that so many times from clients. I would just love for you to expand upon some of the mental benefits, some of the other benefits of going through the program.
Yeah, I think the quick phrase is, it's you go from I think I can to I'm going to. And whether you still achieve it or not, that's not the point. The point is you go into it believing you're going to. And if you come up short, well then okay, that's next time we'll attack that. And you can take that to work or to play or whatever. Right? It's not a case of what are we going to do today? It's you plan what you're going to do today. Right? Ordinarily, we get to a stage on during the week where we'll get to Friday and my wife will say, "What are we doing on Saturday?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" "I don't know. What do you want to do?" Well, I already know that I'm cycling to the beach and meeting her there this Saturday, right? So some of that planning is already embedded. I think it's I put in my calendar now that I'm working out at 12 o'clock every day. Right now, very occasionally somebody at work will put in a meeting and it doesn't happen and I have to shift it a little bit. But literally, I'm planning for myself before I'm allowing other people to plan for myself. It's like if I didn't put that meeting in my calendar, I guarantee you almost every day I would have a meeting at 5 o'clock, at 12 o'clock. Whereas now I'm like, it hits 12 o'clock. Actually, it's 10 to 12. I have my pre-workout drink. I'm ready by 12 o'clock. Down there, Tonal comes on, or I do my HIIT workout, and I'm done by 1:30 with a shower. And actually, I feel much better for the afternoon. Then I can hit the afternoon going, okay, now I'm switched on from mentally as well. What problems did I have this morning that I've now had an hour or so to think about during the workout, or at least to burst away during the workout, and I can focus on a little bit more energy. It's phenomenal. I normally get to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and be like, guess I need a coffee now. I don't drink coffee anymore.
Wow. Incredible, Keith. That is amazing. I love to hear that. And I think the people at home are probably just like, their minds are being blown right now, because what you shared, I think, is experienced by everybody who goes through the program, because when you do difficult things, you build this confidence, this trust in yourself. And all of a sudden it goes from, yeah, I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I can too. No, I'm going to do this. And it's like, I'm going to plan and I'm going to strategize. And one of my old baseball coaches used to say, and I never forgot this, he used to say, he even had t-shirts printed up that we used to wear. It was like our batting shirts. And it said, the will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare. And prepare was in caps and underlined, prepare to win. That is what's most important, preparation. And there's also a beautiful saying from Navy SEALs, which is, you don't rise to the level of your competition, you fall back to the level of your training. So a lot of people think that they can just show up the day and perform at their best. And it's like, no, you can't. You need to prepare and you need to train. And if you do those two things, then yes, you will show up and you will kick ass. But if you don't, good luck. I don't want to take too much of your time, so we'll put a bow on this. Just to reiterate, lost 12 pounds over the course of the program, 3% body fat, but gained a monster, insane 11 pounds of muscle, and he's still getting better and stronger as he goes. He's setting new personal best with his triathlon. His strength's growing up 40%, just incredible. So Keith, just to wrap this up, if somebody's sitting at home and they're on the fence, or they're thinking, I want to make a transformation like this, I want to add some muscle, I want to cut some body fat, but they don't know where to start, they might feel overwhelmed, what advice would you give to them? How would you, whether it's inspire, motivate, educate, whatever it is that you want to do, what would you say to that person?
I'd say commit to yourself, right? That nobody's going to do this for you but you, right? If you've got a great support structure around you, that's fantastic, right? And a lot of people don't, right? Sometimes you're going to have to talk. My wife is the greatest cook, right? And therefore I could get as fat as a house. But I spoke to her and I said, I'm going to do this program. I'm going to need need your support. I will cook, right? She had to sit down after I said that. But it's, commit to yourself, right? Nobody is going to commit for you. Nobody is going to come along a hand. There is no silver bullet, right? There's some great supplements you can eat. There's some great things you can read. And then one of the things that I was going to say is that I've probably got 4 or 5 good workout buddies now from your program, right? I mean, yes, I can get more from Tonal, yes, I can get whatever, but just the people that we went through the program together, it's almost like, okay, right, we're alumni together now. We can. What workout are you going to do today? What workout are you going to do today? How much more have you done? But yeah, the advice that I would tell people, just commit to yourself, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's your program, whether it's something else, just grab it and go.
Wow, I love that. So we'll end on that. But wow, I really do appreciate all of it. It's committing to yourself. It's making that decision that you're going to do it, and you're going to do it no matter what, as Jim Rohn always liked to say, which I love. And I think there's a great quote by Epictetus where he says, how much longer are you going to wait to demand the best from yourself? And I think that's really relevant here too, because so many people sit and they wait and they're waiting for this perfect time. And it's like the rescue party's not coming. Nobody's going to come save you. You've got to do it. So you got to make a decision. You've got to commit. And why wait? Get started. It's never going to be the perfect time. And you're going to overcome obstacles along the way, but that's going to make you better. It's going to make you stronger. And then when you get to the other side and you look back and you see all the progress you made, that's going to just get you excited to keep going and to push further, further, and further until all of a sudden you're standing on top of the mountain and you're like, wow, I can't believe I made it here. And you're a shining example of that, Keith. So thank you again. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of your hard work. I'm so incredibly proud of you because you've come so far. You've put in so much hard work. And you've grown so much being in this program, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So thank you again. I'm proud of you. I'm excited. I can't wait to see where you go from here, because I know you're not done yet. Thank you.
Thank you.